This is the first video from the pop-up block. So let's go. Here we have an example table with products. There is information for them, price and quantity in stock. And there is a table in which we have a movement of these items. In it, we can specify that we added, for example, a cube, 2 items. It came to us, for example, it came into the warehouse. Here we count the balance after we do this transaction and we perform the action code. We change the value here. Here we added a cube, it costs 7. What would we like? We'd like to have an option from here to see movement specifically for a cube, or to be able to see movement in general. So how do we do that? We go to the button, and we write the action code. The functions that open the pop-up start with link. The most commonly used is link to table. It is the first one in the autocomplete. First you have to specify the table. We take the table for link. Here it is. If we are going to open the table in a pop-up windows, we need to specify a title that will be at the top of this windows. For example, we'll call it movements. This is what we won't use yet. I will tell you about it later. Here we can choose, in iframe, blank, in a new browser tab. Note that by default browsers block new windows and tabs from opening. The user will most likely need to allow this action. Somewhere around here a warning will appear and he will need to allow pop-ups for this site the first time. Self. Open in the current window. Parent. To open in the parent window. If you have a cascade of windows, that is, first one window is open, then the second one, and here you run the action code in the second window and want it to open not in this last window, but in the previous one, then this is parent. And top. Open in the topmost window that you open with this link. Let's choose iframe. This is the most commonly used option. Here we can set the width in pixels. Or you can also set it this way as a percentage of the browser window. That is, you have to put in quotes a percentage of the browser window and add VW. Refresh, header, footer do not consider for now. We erase all this. Press save and look at it. We click on the movements. The table for link table opens up. And we see all the rows in that table right now. We can open it in a new tab, for example, and we see that we actually have a pre-filter here. You can select a cube in the pre-filter, and only rows by cube will be shown, because this filter is bound to the title field. Both of these fields are selects. Here we have the base 2 and here we have the base 2. And the next thing we would like to do is to open this pop-up so that we can see the rows for a specific product. To do this, we need to set the filter parameter. We have erased it. We specify a filter. This is the name parameter. Here we will use FL prefixes. We select the prefilter field. And we need to bind to the id. Let's duplicate. Let's see. Duplicate tab. Table for link. We see here selects. By the main table for link table with id base. No base field is here. Okay, so we have to pass the id here to the fluid title. Save it. And we look the cube. We click. And now we see movement only on the specified position. Now here's the next point. We open this window. There's the title. And this field must be allowed to edit in order for this filter jump to work. Let's remove the editing and see what happens. We go into movement and passing the prefilter parameters doesn't work. The prefilter parameters are passed here in encrypted form. They are encrypted with the salt. The salt is sessional. That is, if you copy this link, pass it to another person, or use it after changing the session. That is, log out and log in to close the session. It won't work because the code is session-based. Since we have a locked field, no data is pulled from here into the prefilter field. This is done for security, so that even if a person picks up a value here, they can't access a prefilter that they don't have edit access to. We unblock it back and there it is, pulled right out from the URL. If you need to make some kind of protected filter so that the user doesn't have access to it, you have to do it like this. You have to make it visible only for some role. For example, if we are a creator, we will make visibility for the creator only. Make it visible only for one role. There is a trick for the creator. Even those fields that he does not see in his role, they are still shown, so you can't shoot yourself in the foot and then look long and painfully for that field from another place. The logic behind it is this: when a prefilter field that is not visible for the role is available for editing, the values from the address bar are applied, but the user has significantly fewer opportunities to hack that field and gain access to it, because he does not even know what the field is and how it works. For especially complex cases, there may be the following system: you have a field that you have available for editing. For example, it may not even be visible. It is open for editing, but it is not a bound field. By the way, usually hidden fields are made visible only to the creator, and such technical field is not visible to users. And another technical field is made a bound field. It is already calculating by code. For example, based on the current user, checked on the server side, and it is already bound to the desired field in rows part. So this is where the value is pulled into the editable field. But we additionally check if this user really has access to these values, and only then does the filtering work. This is right here for the most paranoid places like money or some other responsible operations. In this video, let's work out one more thing. For example, when we click on movements, we want to not just open the table, but we want to immediately open the addition row and put a value 1 in the quantity. How do we do this? We say in movements that we want to pass a field parameter and see what fields we have here. Here we have quantity and we say we pass the value 1. When we have a field parameter, when we click on the button that performs link to table, we have an addition row open. And notice we have not passed the cube, we have only passed the quantity 1. So why is the cube substituted? Because we have a cube there in the pre-filter. Let me open it in a tab. This is the field bound to the title field, right there. The pre-filter has auto-substitution. If this field is editable for the user, the value from here will be automatically substituted into this field. And then the user can immediately click Save, and in this table, we will have a recalculation. Now I need to click on the button to refresh. That is, we add a row, close this table. This table is recalculated by the action code. But nothing automatically changes here. We need to press refresh. Then the values here change. This is the next thing we'll talk about, but in the next video. I recommend that you practice on your server with link to table. And when you get something going, move on to the next video.